Hi, Rochelle. Just
Hi.
testing. Are you able to hear
I,
me?
yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Can hear you
Thank
too.
you.
Hi, Rochelle. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hi, Sarah.
Perfect. Are we able to hear them too?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we just tested the mics. It looks like 3, 4. We're at quorum when they're ready. We've got a few minutes, but we're still
Okay.
waiting on personers. I had to come virtually today because I'm helping my mom out with a surgery she just had. So,
Okay.
Hey, Sarah, can I bother you for a minute?
Yes.
When an item is listed on the agenda for possible action, does public comment have to be limited to that agenda item, or can it be general
Yes.
in nature?
Yes. Sorry. There's people are yelling.
No, enjoy that. So it does have to be specific to that agenda item, the comments that they're making.
it does. Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry. Yes. You have to keep the public comment to that one, and then if they have general public comment, it goes at the end.
Okay. And am I able to move public comment to the beginning, or do I leave it the way it is?
You can. I worry sometimes on that. If you need to do that, then I would suggest if someone comes in that came in thinking the public comment period was at the very end of the meeting, then just reopen up
Okay.
general public comment.
Okay.
And then, but if no one's there, then you just note at the beginning of the meeting, you, as the chair, you're moving up public comments to the beginning of the general public comment period to the beginning of the meeting.
Okay.
And then if any new people come in wanting to give general public comment, thinking it was at the end, you will reopen that up.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, no problem.
Okay, it is 6 o'clock, so we will call to order the Council on Family Resource Centers meeting. Today is September 25th, 2025. And we will start with our roll call.
Scott Benton,
Present.
Rebecca Paris,
Here.
Ann Corey, Jose Gomez,
Present.
Jessica Mahan, Perla Garcia, Laurie
Present.
Henderson. Thank you. Laurie Henderson. Present. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we'll move into item 2, which is our items for presentation, discussion, information, and possible action. I do want to note for those following along on our agenda, I am going to move item 2.04 to the beginning of our item 2 section. So with that, I am going to bring up Yesenia. And she will lead us through item 2.04, which for those out there in the world that we follow along is the presentation and discussion of community resources and partnerships and how to enhance service coordination and delivery at Washoe County School District Family Resource Centers to include information from Project 150, a local nonprofit supporting homelessness, displaced, and disadvantaged students in Washoe County.
This is Jasenia Segura for the record. Thank you, Chair Scott. It is my pleasure today to gather and recognize an organization that you mentioned whose generosity and compassion have made a lasting impact on our students, families, and community. Project 150, from the very beginning, they've shown us what truly means to care, and through their donations of not just essential items, they provided us not just material support, but they've offered dignity, comfort, and hope to countless of students and families who need it the most. Their commitment to service goes far beyond meeting immediate needs. It reflects a deep belief in uplifting others and ensuring that every individual, regardless the circumstances, feels valued, supported, and seen. Their partnership has not only strengthened our mission, but has also inspired us all to continue striving towards a community where care and kindness prevail. On behalf of our intervention department, I extend our deepest gratitude to Project 150 for their dedication, their generosity, and their heart for service. Their impact will be felt for many more years to come, and we are truly honored to recognize them today. Please join me in giving them a big round of applause to Project 150 for their unwavering generosity, their partnership, and their commitment to our community.
Thank you all. I feel like all my friends are here. I'm Liz McFarland with Project 150 Reno, and we help homeless, disadvantaged, and displaced high school students with basic needs. We are 100% volunteer with no overhead. This means that I get to volunteer about 40 to 60 hours a week for the last 12 years. All of our volunteers are there because they want to. We have retired social workers, principals, teachers, engineers, ex-DEA agents that were last stationed in Mexico that had to learn softer words, and ex-parole and probation officers that retired from working with youth sex offenders. Everybody is with us because they want to see kids doing good. Kids qualify by going to high school. If you go to high school, you qualify. If you don't go to high school, we see 3,500 kids a year. And typically 1,500 of those kids go through our boutique, which is over by Reno High. It's 1340 Foster Drive behind the Bridge Church. We have a beautiful little brick house that is set up like a store. Kids get to walk in and choose $600 worth of items every 6 months if things are going well in their life. If things are not going okay and they're in between the shelter or staying at the Aloha Inn or the Lake Mill Lodge when it closes down, and then they might be able to see us more often. A lot of students perhaps don't have access to washing machines, and there's a kid at Reno High that was getting bullied, so we might see that kid more often. Kids are living sometimes in it's not sad when we're there. It's so happy when we're there. It's very giggly. If I take them in a shopping spree, very happy. But sometimes when you think about it, it's sad. But kids might be living in an RV that doesn't have hookups that gets towed. And maybe we just helped them a week ago with clothes, but all of their clothes got taken away. And the kiddo, Blaze, she'll call me again from Hug, from somebody's phone, and say, I need the stuff. And I say, well, I'm out of town. I don't know who's going to come to you. but someone is going to come to you tonight at 7 o'clock with all this stuff. Which room are you in at the Victorian Motel 6? And she says, I don't know, but it's a couple doors from the office. I said, someone will be there. And I'll reach out to our volunteers and say, who's going tonight? And a teacher that works at Forest Lake, her and her husband went and collected the clothes, knocked on the doors, and had the clothes there at 7. So we're very responsive. There's not a lot of paperwork in that. If kids go to school, they get stuff. If they don't go to school, we're going to try to maybe help them to get back to school. The last Saturday before back to school this year, we had a mom roll up with, she actually had 4 kiddos and they were sleeping in the car, and they got a voucher, but it was hot August night, so there were not hotels available, and her kids were not registered for school. And we said, let's get your kids, which was a high school student and then 2 middle school students and a 10-month-old baby. Let's get your boys that are in the upper grades a couple of outfits so that you can get them registered for school, and then come back on Wednesday and we'll put you on the VIP. So she did, and she had a hotel for a week. And I said, do you want all the stuff now? Because we give so much stuff: 5 bottoms, 10 tops, 2 hoodies, 7 socks, 7 underwear, 3 bras, a new shoe, a gently used shoe, hygiene products, food, and all that. So I was, Mom, do you want all this stuff now to take to the hotel, or do you want to get a few more things and then come back when you get settled? So she decided to come back when she got settled. Again, nobody gets paid, and we don't have a lot of funding or grants, so we can do the right thing. So we were able to get that mom some underwear and a few things, and we gave the 10-month-old a little blankie that we had and stuff too. So we are fortunate that we get to do the right things for the people that need it regularly. We help kids when they've been in sex trafficking get what they need to kind of get back on track. We help kids. We're going to have a jacket giveaway soon, but we help all the kids that need it. Lots of foster care kids. We had a kiddo there this last Wednesday, and I didn't think she would ever leave. She was having such a good time. You come in, and it's a beautiful place, nice stuff. I mean, you guys would want it if you saw it. You'd be like, I can shop there. And kids sometimes have never been able to select a shoe. They've been in foster care all their lives, and somebody maybe has administered a shoe, and they get to pick, do you like Nikes? Do you like Converse? We go all the way up to size 18 shoe, and we go up to 6X and 7X. Sometimes people are like, I don't know if you can help my kid, they're big. I'm like, how big? And then XL, I'm like, you're fine. But we have things for the itty bitty freshmen. With a lot of our partners, we're also able to help kids when they call and say, hey, this kid's in 6th grade, but they'll fit your stuff. Or this kid's goes to O'Brien. I get a lot of this kid goes to O'Brien. but we are able to help those kiddos. We're going to say the first things would be, are they about 100 pounds and 5 feet tall? So some people do not qualify. But we are able to help lots and lots of kiddos. Like I said, $3,500 a year. We do this all. Like last year with $150,000, and it's very impressive. Everything gets put in an IKEA bag. Just our hygiene bags alone are worth $44, and our food bags, which is pop top, easy to eat, microwavable items, is $40, and then the clothing, $600 worth of stuff. Last year we were spending $150,000 to do all of that because we're very crafty, and we lost some funding. So this year we'll be doing that with $100,000. But we are one of the most efficient nonprofits out there, and we just want to help the kids stay in school. Everybody in town has my number, so you can give my phone number to anybody. And if any kids need volunteer opportunities, we always have that, but we love it. Our best customers is Washoe County Intervention Department. We love them. And if they think they are the peskiest, they are our best friends. And if they don't call, and we want to roll out the red carpet because they're doing all of the right things to help all of the right kids. Sometimes if we don't get calls from certain people, we're like, yeah, you don't write, you don't call, but there's people like Ray and Michelle from Hug and Amparo and Hector and Jesse and Brenda, and there's people that call a lot. So we call them our besties, and we want to make sure that we roll out the red carpet and we help their kiddos as fast as we can, and we appreciate that. Yeah. Any questions? Awesome. Okay.
I just want to add that without the help of Project 150 and Liz heading the lead on that, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. So all the efforts that we and each of our family resource centers do, sometimes it's not enough in regards to clothing, depending on the crisis of the family and the student. Liz always comes to the rescue. Project 150 always comes to the rescue. So thank you for that.
Okay. Awesome.
Brenda Costello for the record. I remember 12 years ago getting some phone call from some lady that was over in Sparks at like a vacuum storage place. And we're like, what is this about? And now look what you have done to this community. So we're so grateful.
Nice. Thank you, guys. Yeah. All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Chair Benton, may I say something?
Absolutely. Is that Rochelle?
Thank-
Go for it.
Yes, thank you, Rochelle Muriel, for the record. Liz, I can't see you, and I'm so sorry that I couldn't be there because I wanted to give you a hug. And on behalf of all of the staff in the intervention department, the attendance officers, our re-engagement specialists, facilitators, our children in transition, our foster staff, our family resource center staff, we cannot do this without you. You are amazing. I wish I had a quarter of the energy that you have. I love getting your text messages. Hey, we're going to be open these days. You know, the things that you do for our community and for our students, and you bring them dignity, you impact them, and make them feel good. And we just really, really appreciate your partnership. You're one of the most important partners that we have within the larger family intervention department. So thank you, a million thank yous coming from virtually.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay.
This is Jose Gomez from The Record. Liz, I have a question for you. I'm noticing there's a lot of things that are happening in the climate. Things are getting more expensive for children and families. As committee members here, we want to know what is the need within the youth today? What can we do as community members to help out Project 150?
It's tough right now. The Dollar Tree went to the $1.25 tree, which is now the $1.50 tree, and it's expensive. And people are making choices between a roof over their heads, or electricity, or skimping. And skimping is going to be the hygiene products, and skimping is going to be the food. And where they can come if everything's going okay every 6 months for the clothing, they can come for the food and the hygiene more often, and they are, because that's a lot of money. That's tough. There's also, I think they call it shrinkflation. So a lot of our things that we purchase, like tuna or canned chicken or protein items, you're paying more and then they're getting smaller as well. We do lots of feminine hygiene products, and we love that, and we never want to limit the students there. So if I had just gifts that just flew out of the sky, it might be feminine hygiene products. We're seeing a lot of pregnancies lately too. I love condoms and tuna and deodorant. We want the kids to be feeling good about going to school, feeling good about themselves. We give them, the store is just beautiful. It's just the best of the best. And we want kids to go to school feeling great, where people say you look nice today, not like, oh, where'd you get that? But we always love, it's going to be tuna, deodorant, hygiene, body wash, a lot of the food and hygiene items. 66% of our shoppers are males, and that's where we spend a lot of our money, is on males, because a lot of times females might have more clothes, fast fashion, but perhaps males buy Levi's and items that can last for 20 years and they don't donate. So when we're buying, we're going to buy, we have pants that go up to 38-inch inseam. We have tall things for the taller kids, but a lot of times the females maybe can get something handed down from a cousin or from a friend, or they can get something cheaper, and the boys just are out of luck if they grow a foot overnight and that. So always the male stuff is a hot commodity for us, but lots of that hygiene and food items.
Any other questions
Hi,
from the council?
Rebecca for the record.
Oh, Rebecca, yes.
Hi, sorry I couldn't be there, and I don't know if my camera's working. I would just like to say that Liz is amazing, and all the volunteers. I know I've worked with her in the past. I am in middle school, but if I've called her and said, oh, I have a 7th grader who needs like a size 12 shoe, she will make it happen. So I've texted her, emailed her, called her, and she's always very responsive. Volunteers are great. I know it's a smaller space, but you guys make it work and have so much stuff. I think you guys are amazing, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Liz,
Okay.
thank you for what you do. Thank you for supporting the great work that we know happens at the Family Resource Centers. When I brought this item forward on our agenda, I want to see as a council the partnerships that happen every day. And it was a no-brainer that you were one of the top 3 that they listed.
Yeah.
So thank you for giving us the space to do the work that they do in the family resource centers. And
We love them, and we don't case manage, so we really love people like Jasenia and Brenda and that. We are really just a happy shopping spree, and we just say, here's your underwear, go do good stuff, graduate. And we are so thankful that we have people like Family Resource Center and all the other people at Intervention that do case manage and do follow these families so that we can just hand out the fun things and get the glory and say, go do good in school. So thank you all.
Okay, with that, I will close item 2.04 and move back to item 2.01, which is the approval of the minutes from our June 11, 2025 meeting of the Council on Family Resource Centers. This is for possible action. Is there any public comment on this item?
There is none.
Thank you. With that, I will bring it back to the council for a motion on the minutes that were sent out virtually, but we also have a copy in front of us.
I motion to approve for the minutes of June 11th, as is written.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Rebecca, I second.
Thank you, Rebecca. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Nay? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item 2.02 is the discussion or presentation and discussion of the Washoe County School District Family Resource Center's funding status, including the status of grant applications and possible action to provide recommendations to staff on scheduling future fundraising and publicity events. I'm going to toss it over to our liaison, Rochelle.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Rochelle Muriel for the record. This is, as a reminder, a standing agenda item. This agenda item is requested by your chair in order to update you on how our funding is looking, and then also to give you opportunities to discuss if there's anything else that you would recommend in terms of funding opportunities or pursuing any other funding options out there. We do have a few updates. We had some pending grants the last time we met. So at the last meeting, as Lisa reminded me, we had our CB-CAP, which is our child abuse prevention grant, was pending. We did receive that grant. However, we did get a pretty significant cut in that grant. So that was about close to a $50,000 cut. Based on what we were awarded. So we did get $93,000, of which we are very appreciative of. We did apply for the SNAP education grant and we did not receive that grant. So we are in the process now. Brenda and her staff are working on the family violence prevention grant. So that will be submitted here in the next week. And then we did receive funding through Strengthening Our Communities. And so you may remember that we are working with a group called Strengthening Our Communities and Blueprint Collaborative. They have been working throughout the last probably 6 to 8 months around prioritizing funding for 3 areas. One is our middle school engagement program that is addressing chronic absenteeism at a middle school level. It's also funding some and expanding communities and schools, and also funding and expanding funding for family resource centers. We have received $200,000 from them. That has allowed us to sustain our current level of staffing. We did hire Eric Olson. He is probably in the audience. I can't tell, but Eric Olson is our newest person that replaced Jean, who retired from her position. But Jean has come back, and Jean is working part-time at the Sparks Family Resource Center. So she's helping us with a lot of grant reporting and those kinds of things. So she works 20 hours a week. So we're happy to have Jean back working with us. And then Eric is up at the Desert Skies Family Resource Center. He comes to us from the counseling school social work department. And so we're super excited to have him and his expertise. He has experience with grants. He has overseen grants for the school district. He is a school social worker himself. And so he is coming to Desert Skies and working on establishing and building relationships there. So he started with us this probably in July, I would say. And then we are in the process of hiring 2 family advocate positions. We had 2 folks that moved on to bigger and better things. And so we are replacing those positions. Those vacancies are posted and we're interviewing on Monday for those 2 family advocate positions. We also have, going back to strengthen our communities, we have a lot of sort of private funders, private donors, and larger corporate companies that are interested in family resource centers. We've hosted them twice in a tour. And so they're trying to learn about family resource centers and what we do, and how they might contribute and what our needs are. And then they are in the process of arranging a few other tours, so that folks can just come and understand and see what we do in the family resource centers, what our needs are, and see if they're interested in providing funding as well. The ultimate goal for family resource centers, we need to be sustainable, right? So they're looking at a 3-year plan of how do we make sure that we have our funding intact and that we are able to be sustained for a minimum of 3 years.
Hi, Rochelle. I think there is some kind of technical difficulties. Your image is frozen.
You're back.
I'm back. I don't know what happened. As soon as somebody talked,
Rochelle, are you there?
yeah,
Okay, we can hear you now, but it's not very good.
it is going, guys.
Are you able to turn your camera off? Maybe that will help with the
Yeah. Okay. Let's try that.
Okay, let's go for it.
Could you repeat the question, please? I didn't hear the question.
I don't know that there was a question. We were in the middle of your statement about the tours, and we kind of lost technology with you.
You left off on the 3-year mark, sustainability.
Okay. Well, we will pivot and turn. It looks like she's muted, so
Okay, I'm going to try one more time. Can you hear me now?
yes.
Okay. Could you please repeat the question? I don't know if there was questions or just comments.
They were just comments. We were
Okay.
hearing your statement about the tours and the public partnerships, and we last heard the 3-year sustainability statement.
Okay. Yes, that is true. So that is the goal of strengthening our communities, is that 3-year sustainability.
Awesome. Any questions for Rochelle from the council?
It's not a, maybe it is a question, Rochelle. Have you reached out to Renown, Carrie Kelly? I know they're starting their grant season for 2026, and some of their focus is maternal health, behavioral health, in some sense of community. I know that their grant opens on October 1st. And I know it's a short turnaround, like as in like you have to submit it by November something. So if you're connected with Carrie Kelly, I think it'd be great to reach out. But if not, I can connect you with Carrie.
I would love for you to connect me. We have applied to grants in the past to Renown, and they typically will fund things like programmatic things, which we always need, right? But the Strengthening Our Communities has really been focused on funding salaries. And so that's been our focus, but we do need funding for programs as well. So I would be interested in getting the contact information. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay.
Great.
I have a question. This is Rebecca for the record.
Hello, Rebecca.
Okay. Sorry, my camera like has a delay or something. So hi. I think in our last meeting you talked about a grant that you didn't get. I don't have the thing in front of me, so I don't remember. And then talking about how one grant is, 50,000 lower than you thought, and I think, we're always talking about how to get more funding. It's good to get grants, obviously, for staffing, but when we talk about services and stuff, where do you guys kind of see you're losing services when you're not getting all the money that you need? Does that make sense?
It does. It's kind of a complex answer. So wave at me if my internet goes out again and you can't hear me. But so when we apply for grants, we budget for salaries and we budget for programmatic things. So when we receive less funding, that means that we have to prioritize the funding. And if that means that we don't have people to deliver the services, then that impacts our ability to serve our families. So we always prioritize funding for salaries so that we can have the people to facilitate the resources. So we've made a great effort in partnering with community agencies so that we can leverage some of their resources as well, like Project 150. That's an example of a community resource that we partner with for resources. But ultimately, we have to make hard decisions when we receive less funding than what we actually need. And if it's drastic enough, we may lose a position and a person because we can only absorb so much when we're receiving those cuts. So frequently when we're getting cuts, if we can't sustain a position to have somebody deliver or broker resources, then it's going to be direct impacts to programmatic direct services for our clients. Does that answer your question, Rebecca?
Yeah. Also, is there programs that you would like to bring in if you had funding? Like, is there something you guys have been kind of talking about?
I think, our programs are based on the needs of the community. And so if the community is telling us that they really need to have budgeting programs, then that's what we would like to bring in. If our community is saying we really need support and access to food, then that's where we need to beef it up. And so that's why you see in family resource centers, they're all a little bit different because the community needs are different. So it depends on the family resource center where they're at and what the most needs are in that community.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Any other questions for Rochelle? Okay. Something that I wanted to put out there is the holidays are coming. We're already here at October. So I wanted the council to have a discussion today so that we can provide some feedback to the staff of what we can do as a council. Something that was said to me early on in this conversation was an angel tree that we as council members can support and what that looks like. So if I can, I'd like to bring Brenda up and have a conversation. Yes, I'm throwing her out there. She was the bee in the ear buzzing maybe today. And see what that would look like if we can take action on it today. What would that look like for the staff? And how best can we maneuver that? And before I turn it over to you, I should probably get some feedback from the council if that's something that they want to move forward with.
So Brenda Costello for the record. So we were all attending an event today at Anthem, and we've talked about in the past like what the council can do. So the Family Resource Centers as a whole we do what we can for the holidays, making sure that families have food, maybe shelter, utilities are covered. But as far as gifts, it's generally not something where we dip a toe. However, the council in the past has expressed an interest in what can we do to support. So just throwing that out there, maybe like an angel tree, 1 family per center, that's 5 families. So something like that. But again, if there's interest on behalf of the council, you guys are all also busy. Certainly you have other charities that you do donate to, so it's just a thought. And then I have no idea how we would, I can certainly coordinate the angel tree. We want to just make sure that we're following open meeting law as far as coordinating with the gifts, the names, the children, and pickup, but I can help with all of that.
Rochelle, do you have any thoughts on that could influence how we proceed?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry, you guys are still cutting out a little bit for me. So repeat the question again. I heard little bits.
So I put out the idea that as a council, we can support the Family Resource Centers through an angel tree process for the holidays. Brenda gave us a clear explanation of what the centers are able to do and how we can contribute as a council. Her thought was 5 families, 1 per center. And what that would look like. How could we contribute? How would the district take that on if that's what we
So
voted
we
to do
have
today?
done angel trees in Family Resource Centers in the past. We could talk internally about the best way to do it. I would also lean on the council to tell us what you are interested in doing, because I don't want to pressure anyone. I obviously, if you are interested in donating gifts or adopting a family or anything like that, we can work around sort of what your interests are. And so we can certainly coordinate sort of internally what that could look like, because we have done it in the past. So we could work it in terms of like just having you adopt a family.
Okay. Jose?
So, as a council, I think, should we discuss if we want to do that?
Absolutely. I think that's where I want to land, is an open discussion about it. The idea in talking about it today is our next meeting's not till January, so the holidays will have come and gone. So kind of pressed for time, but it's a standing item for that reason, so that we can talk about how to contribute. And I'm okay hearing we can work independently as community members and work with the centers if that's the route that we want to go. I just feel that it's my job as your guys' chair to bring things to the council so that we can contribute wherever we can, knowing that all of us are pretty spread thin. I'm not only working on a dinner plate, I'm on dessert now. So what that looks like to each of us might be different. I just know that over the years, that's something that I have heard loud and clear that we want to contribute more. And I thought Brenda's idea today at that event we were gathered at was great.
Hi, Rebecca, for the record.
Hello, Rebecca.
My question would kind of, I think, be to the centers is, how would you feel about having to pick 1 family? Is that going to be something that's difficult? Because you have so many clients. And how would you navigate if the family was picking up presents unless you deliver them and other people saw and were like, oh, how do I do that? Just because you guys do support a lot of people. How would that be for you guys?
Since I'm the only one sitting at the table, I guess. So, Rebecca, it's a great question. And over the years, we've had to navigate that thin line. For the most part, we keep it very discreet. Generally, we are delivering the presents. We also coordinate with all the other community partners that do angel trees or other community assistance holiday stuff. Salvation Army, Communities in Schools also does something. So we certainly would respect the family's dignity, but it's a fair question. As far as picking 1 family, yeah, it's an impossible task, but generally there's a family that we're working with around this time of year that always like comes to the forefront of our consciousness. And so it's just a way that we can recognize the family, but also again through the council always is asking, what can we do? And this is just something, actually I think it's actually more for the council than the families that we support. It's just a way of the council actually saying this is what we do and why we do it, and the pictures tell a million stories. So, but great question, Rebecca.
Yes, thank you. I'm open to hearing thoughts, motions, something that we can take action on. And I'm also okay hearing, no, we don't need to take action and we will handle this independently. I think we all know the contacts of who to get a hold of.
Hi, Rebecca again.
Hi, Rebecca. Oh, yes.
So
Yeah, Scott, if you could just make sure you get public comment, even if you're not going to take action, since it's a potential action item.
Yes, thank you. Back to you, Rebecca.
So are we looking at the council taking this on, or are we looking at it as the council will go and look for the presence, like find partners to partner with, or combination of both?
I think that would be all in the language of the motion that we make. If we give some guidance to the staff, it has to be clear guidance so that they understand the task that we're asking them of. Being that we're a public body, we have to be able to refer back to, did the task get accomplished? And that's all in the motion.
So I would motion for each individual council member to reach to the Family Resource Center if they're interested in doing the angel tree.
Fair. Is there a second on the motion? For discussion, I will second the motion. If there's discussion on the motion, we can have that now. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing and hearing no public comment, I'll send it to the council for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition, say nay. Okay, motion carries unanimously. Yesenia, was that clear as mud?
Well, just as a comment, I don't know if I'm still allowed to comment, but we have done this before with our council and it worked out, but I do agree that being taken care of individually, privately, that works out the best because we all do things similar, but yet a bit different. So it'll work out. We thank you for your support.
Okay, thank you. Any other action that we want to take on item 2.02?
I don't know if it's an action item, but I would love to know the timeline. I think that was
Well, in general, the timelines, we do try to do, at least get them all done the week before winter break. It's nice to get it done early in case we can't get in touch with the family. We have time to get the gifts to the family. It's hard when we're last minute and things are getting super busy and we're winding down school to do it on like the Friday before we go on winter break. So I don't recall the last day before winter break, but if we could get it at least a week before winter break, I think that would, even earlier would be even more wonderful.
Thank you, Rochelle.
I think winter break is the 17th of December, I believe. So maybe like the beginning of December would be the best.
Yeah.
That way then they can, if they have a tree or anything, they can put the presents under there or do whatever.
And then I guess my follow-up question on that, would be like a wish list or something, like to guide us to figure what the families are needing? Because you say individual families, individual centers have their own needs, so maybe some guidance.
Yeah. So if we have an angel tree and you decide that you want to adopt a family, they will give us some of their preference. So maybe there's a 5-year-old and they're really interested they really like dinosaurs. That might be on their list. So it gives you sort of a general idea of what the family members' interests are, and then you can purchase gifts that way.
Thank you. Sarah, is that something we need to go back to our motion and amend the motion to include that, or could we how do we make this clear and precise?
I think it's open-ended enough that, because my understanding was that the motion was that individual members who may be interested in participating in the Angel Tree will reach out over to the Council of Family Resource Centers. That allows, you guys some flexibility to then, when you reach out, talk about, okay, this is a family, these are our Angel Tree options, these are the levels of need. So I think your motion covers that process.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, any other conversation on this item? Hearing none, I will move into item 2.03. It's presentation and discussion of the Washoe County School District Family Resource Center data and outreach events, including future community outreach events and volunteer opportunities. This item is for presentation and discussion only. And I invite up.
Ladies, I'm going to share the document. Is it the activities and outreach document?
Let's start with data first, please.
Okay.
This is Yesenia Segura for the record. I'm going to start with the data presentation. I've included the dates of March 1st through June 30th to start, and I'll begin with that, and continues to then move on from July 1st, 2025 through just August 31st of this year as well. So these are the call logs through our call rail database system that we use to communicate with clients with phone calls, and then the next page does specify the text conversations through the same dates already mentioned, starting with March 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2025, and then continues from July 1st through August 31st. I'm just asking if there are any questions once you are done reviewing, and I look forward to those questions.
Comparatively to last year, where does this put us?
The pattern of, depending on the seasons, like we just spoke about holidays and breaks in the summer and the winter, you can see the pattern of the calls between February all the way through April and May seem to fluctuate and be very high on the call logs. Just keep in mind, this doesn't include the landlines that do go directly without our database in CallRail, due to the fact that we started using CallRail in 2020 based on the pandemic, so then clients can communicate with us via text message when they were not able or allowed to come in person. So there is the usual pattern where in the cold months, they need electricity assistance and support. We do tend to get phone calls at higher volumes, and that you can see Central FRC. I know maybe your copies are black and white, but I do have the presentation that Rochelle is projecting in colors. The highest blue one will be the call flow number, which is all of our numbers when clients decide to call our main line, the 775-204-1408, and choose the number 0, which then rings all 5 centers.
And on this CallRail database data for text conversations, what does JPO transition stand for?
So thank you for that question. That's the juvenile prevention officer that is Wiley Evans, and that used to be part of our FRC, but he is moved on and do that position consists on re-engaging students that were in outside school district programs for whatever the situation they might have gone through, and re-engaging them back into our school district after that juvenile prevention systems were done.
Awesome, thank you.
May I just add, Chair Ben, so specifically, these are youth that have been incarcerated for at least 6 months, or they've been in lockdown residential treatment centers, and they're now returning to our community. So it's essential that we provide some intensive case management and transitions for those youth and their families as youth are returning to the home after being outside of the home. And so they help to support them with needs that they might have that include resources that family resource centers provide.
Thank you.
After that call data with CallRail, I have included the Google business data for each of our centers with the same dates as the CallRail, which began in March all the way through August 2025. This data does show what people in our community, when they're searching for assistance, you can see on the right side how many are searching by just Family Resource Center, food banks being one of the 5 top searches, food pantries, food bank, and so on. So it begins with Sun Valley FRC. It shows the amount of people that have viewed our business profile for Sun Valley and who was using their mobile phone by doing those searches, or using their desktop, or using their Google Maps mobile, or again, Google Maps desktops. It goes on by then also including the same data for Sparks FRC, for Central Reno FRC, and North Valleys FRC. Any questions for those Google searches data?
Is the HUG location not something that is searchable on Google?
It has not been set up yet, and I'm still trying to make sure to get it familiar with those filters in regards to getting it approved by Google. It was submitted, I want to say, a few months ago, but I haven't heard back.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. The following data is from the services through the data system we use, eLogic, is where we put data on all the services and individuals and demographics we do as family resource centers throughout. The first data includes the school year that we just wrapped up in June of this year. So it goes from July 2024 through June 30th of 2025. I believe the last meeting we had was shared out to May 2025. So this one includes the June 2025 with an overall individual number served of 9,039 individuals. From there, on the bottom explains the different services in numbers of households served within the same date range. Following that, it includes the now new school year, July 2025 through August 2025, with the same data as mentioned before, with already served 1,800 individuals for those 2 months. And the services break down for each of the services in the number of households. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you. So looking at it, food assistance is still our #1 service offered.
That is correct. And that includes the SNAP application assistance we do on site at each of our centers with the assistance of the Food Bank SNAP outreach program and with our staff that do it on site.
This is Jose for the record. I just know my expertise on Medicaid. Are you guys noticing there's more families being dropped out of Medicaid and SNAP? And are you also seeing the difficultiness of them reapplying for Medicaid for your families?
I can speak on my side on what I see when they come in person and they do schedule their recertifications and their new applications. Most of them do it for their children for whatever reasons that they themselves as head of households may not qualify, that being that due to income or immigration status, they mostly come so their children can be covered either by Medicaid and SNAP. I have not seen the drop. I actually have seen higher approval numbers in regards to also the speed of them being approved. I have seen it go super fast compared to years prior.
Okay, perfect. Because I wanted to make sure, because we, in my job, my day-to-day job, we are noticing that there's a drop of significantly of people being dropped, and there's the 60 days that they can reapply for Medicaid, and we're noticing after those 60 days they're not reapplying, and it could be due to home addresses, cell phones, email. They're not up to date. So I'm trying to figure out how to is best knowing that you serve the members that we see. How do we help you guys to make sure that those families are not being dropped out of have no care, no gap in care?
So what I can say, and my colleagues can jump in, what I have seen, the reasonings that you're mentioning are because they forget, they lose the letter they get on the mail, or they just are not used to checking their mail because those communications from the state do come through the mail when they need to renew. And they forget, or they do it the day off and they don't have enough documentations, and then they are not really following up for the additional documentation. So we don't get to find out until they show up for their appointment. So I don't, because of the access, we're not the state, we're not able to pre-identify and prevent these type of cases until we hear from the clients. Not sure if Lisa may want to share more, but that's what I've been seeing.
Lisa Guzman for the record. I have not seen a drastic drop, thankfully, and that's concerning that that's something that you have seen. I certainly do see the families that just don't get to it in time, and there might be a lapse in benefits. That is certainly something that we do screen for and follow up on whenever we're meeting or talking with a family. One thing that I have noticed, particularly not so much the families that we're currently working with, but like at outreach events and talking with people and encouraging to apply for benefits, is that there is a bit of a reluctance with families that are maybe afraid or concerned about applying for benefits. So that's the main thing that I have seen in regards to public assistance.
Thank you, both of you.
Great question. Rebecca, do you have any questions?
Not right now.
Thank you. Perla?
None at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Back to you.
That was it for my data part. I believe Lisa is going to take over now for the events and collaboration activities.
Lisa Guzman for the record.
Don't go anywhere, Yesenia.
Lisa Guzman for the record. If everyone would like to take a minute and peruse our list of events and collaborations for the last few months, we did have to shrink our font size to keep them all on one page. We have been busy, as you can see. Especially during the last few months with back to school, we were able to attend a lot of events, so that was great. I will point out a couple of partner meetings that I would like to highlight. We did have not necessarily a new partner, but a new collaboration meeting with Reno Housing Authority to talk about how we can work together to facilitate academic success and attendance. So that was really nice. And apologies that we didn't mention this during the funding, but we did actually apply for a partnership with them. Thank you, Chair Benton, for passing that along. This is still pending, so we don't know if we have been awarded yet, but it would provide up to 60 days of motel assistance for families who are unhoused. And this would be a huge benefit to us. So we should know more about that at our next meeting, but that is pending. And we also had a collaboration meeting with Eddie House. They are now visiting some of the high schools, so we were talking about how to work together on that. So I wanted to highlight those. Thank you, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Why do you all look at me? My favorite question. I'm going to start with Mr. Olson in the audience. Come on up. Join the conversation. We'll put you in the hot seat for a minute. So I typically like to ask all of our FRC staff members what their favorite event was that they attended since our last meeting. So I'm going to ask you first.
Boy, so Eric Olson, new FRC specialist up in Sun Valley. That's a hard question to answer because I'm new enough to the centers that every event is special for me, just connecting with new partners. I've been focusing a lot on the schools in our region, just making sure they know me, making sure they have a clear understanding of what we're doing, that I have a clear understanding of, from the school's perspective, kind of what they're hoping for from family resource centers, things that have facilitated good collaboration in the past, things that have been barriers. So I find that very helpful, just giving me kind of a good perspective on the best way. And fully understanding that schools are not our only partners, but that's kind of a good starting place for me.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Brenda.
So I would say that the culmination of all of the back to school nights are just my favorite. Just the kids are all excited. They want to see their classes. They want to know their teachers. And we got last year a huge donation of little tiny hand sanitizers in their superheroes hand sanitizers. And so we give those out, although I don't know what the end date is on hand sanitizer, but we're still giving them out. And the kids are so excited. They get all excited to hook it onto their backpack. And so back to school is always just such a great feeling, even though it's supposed to feel like fall, but it's always a million degrees. So I would say all the back to school nights. And a shout out to my colleagues, because the list that you're looking at is basically the four of us doing these events. So we're down many staff members. And so I don't know. I just told, we have a social work intern in the audience, and I just said, I think we need a nap, all of us. So shout out to my colleagues.
Thank you. Lisa.
Well, I am having a hard time picking an event because I have enjoyed all of them and they're all incredibly meaningful and beneficial. I will say I am excited about taking a more formal approach to our partnership with Reno Housing Authority and looking forward to seeing where that's going to go.
Awesome. Yesenia.
I feel the same. I did like attending a few of them. I was not able to attend a couple of them, but I do enjoy just sharing the information and the work we do together. Is just I just like talking to people. So, and just on top of that, like just talking about the work we do and how we can make it better by working together and having those opportunities to just meet more partners is always a good time, and the kiddos, like Brenda mentioned, and partners with Project 150, always giving us goodies to give away, socks, toys, and just more makes it even more fun. It's something that they will bring them to our table and then just break that ice and have those conversations, and then all of a sudden we find out more about our families, our staff too, that are our parents themselves. So I do enjoy it. So thank you for always asking.
Of course, thank you for sharing. Okay. Looking ahead, we have some upcoming events. Anything that stands out? I think tomorrow's a big day for one.
Yes. There is a mental health workshop coming up that is sponsored by JTNN on the 30th. There's some information about that. For more things, FRC, you can always visit the National Family Support Network website for their webinar Wednesdays. We have a Food Bank Partner Agency Conference coming up tomorrow. There's a Family Health Festival, October 8th at Neal Road. And Jesse is putting together a Family Wellness and Medicaid Resource Day on October 22nd, which should be quite wonderful.
It's a very special day in my house. Okay. Any questions for Lisa before we... Yes, Rebecca.
Yeah, it's not a question. It's more of just it's a lot of stuff that you guys do, and it's really good to kind of see all the partnerships that you guys are making and all the places that you're going, because that just kind of shows how much you guys really care for the community. So I just want to commend you all, because I know it's hard. There's not a lot of you, and I know sometimes you guys are stretched a little thin. So keep up the good work.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Very much so. Okay, Lisa, thank you. Appreciate you. With that, I'll close item 2.03 and move on to item 2.05, which is the dates of our upcoming meetings. So the review of the upcoming Council on Family Resource Centers meeting dates. I thought it was a typo when it said 26, but here we are. We have January 21st, 2026, April 15th, 2026, and June 17th, 2026. As always, it's important for us to regularly attend, however that's possible, in person or virtually. And if you don't get an email from our dear friend Lisa at the middle of the month before, you're probably missing the email, so make sure you look for it. Okay, with that, I'll close item 2 in its entirety.
I just have a question.
Okay.
Are we supposed to have 4 meetings or 3 meetings?
For this, the one we're sitting in today is for next calendar year.
Oh, okay, so that won't be on this one.
No. So our calendar year, or our year goes from June or July 1 through June 30th.
Perfect.
Great question. Okay, item 3.01, public comment. This is the time when we open our meeting to those in the public wishing to make public comment. Is there anyone wishing to make public comment? Hearing none, seeing none, no comment cards have been...
There is one. There is one. Lisa, are you
Yes,
doing it?
I am.
Okay.
Chair Benton, thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa Guzman for the record. I would like to welcome our newest Council on Family Resource Centers member, Laurie Henderson. We were not able to get an agenda item this time for her to introduce herself and talk about her wonderful experience that she will be lending to the FRC, but we will plan to do that next time. And I would also like to acknowledge a special virtual guest, Michelle McNeely, from the Grants Management Unit. She has been our FRC liaison, and she has been wonderful. She's moving on to a new position, but just want to recognize you, Michelle, and thank you for joining us tonight. And we so appreciate all of your support of the FRC, and you will be missed.
Thank you so much. I'm really, it's a pleasure to be here with you all. And honestly, I've been moved by everything that you all are doing and the partnerships and the cohesion of the council. It's really inspiring. So I'm going to take that with me, and I have a message coming to you all because we have more work to do. So thank you so much.
Thank you for what you've done. Any other public comment? Okay, hearing none. Item 2.03 is the announcement of our next meeting, January 21st, 2026. And with that, it's 7:06, and I will adjourn the meeting.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye.